YouTube, what is up? I'm your homeboy Josh, back at you. And today we're doing something that's a little bit different. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning here in the East Coast, and I'm playing around with this live streaming software. It's open broadcasting or whatever it's called. I'm not really sure. But it's my first time messing with this, so if it sucks, I'm sorry. It's 1 in the morning here, and we'll see how this goes. So, what this video is going to be is basically a lot of people had some questions about the most recent build I had up for the EX RDA the other day. And I figured, you know what? Let's go and answer some of those questions. People asking how long certain things took, the process behind certain things. So I thought we'd give this a try. And I've got the chat open here. I can put some of your questions right up there in the screen right there. I'm going to shrink myself down a bit, down into the corner right over there, and we're going to play basically real-time footage from the video. Real-time footage from the actual EX RDA video, and we're going to see how it goes. I hope that I sound okay. I hope I look okay. I've had a nasty history with streaming in the past. It always kind of sounds like shit, looks like shit. So hopefully this looks okay. I don't really know. Pardon the pink leopard print. It's Waffles Cup. I'm just thirsty. So, all right, here we go. So, what first thing I need to do here is I need to shrink myself down a bit so that I'm going to be down in this corner right here. I'm still here. Hi. But I can disappear at any time. Now I'm gone and I'm back. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to add the video in the background and we're going to see how this goes. Fingers crossed. This could go badly. I'm nervous. I am. I haven't streamed live in a very long time and I'm terrified that this is going to go poorly. And my dog is over there in the chair throwing things on the floor. All files. Here we go.
This is an intro.
And I was going to sing along here, but I can't hear it. So, sorry.
This is an intro.
Who needs an intro?
This is just a vape
I
show.
need an intro.
It's just a vape show.
It's just a vape show. It's just a vape show. I'm back. Hi. So, what's going on here right now is basically, I'm only going to do one of these coils just to show you the process again. Basically, this is me stretching out that fused Clapton coil. And I'm thinking that the audio is going to be out of sync with what I'm saying. So I don't know if there's anything I can do about that. I think it's because I shrunk myself down. Now the audio is out of sync. I don't know. Anyway, so basically, you can go ahead and you can make your own fused Claptons, of course. In this particular build, I just used the fused Claptons that came with the EX RDA. They're nothing special. I think they're like 2 strands of 26 gauge with, I want to say 36, something like that. I want to say they're Canthal based upon how they color up a little bit later on. But basically what I'm doing here is I'm folding them at about a 90-degree angle. I'm folding the coil over at a 90-degree angle, and I'm using this is the tool out of the Coil Master kit. I think it's the 3mm bit, because I think that's what these coils were built on, a 3mm internal diameter. And what's happening there is basically I'm just stretching them out at a 90-degree angle. You can see how the leads are kind of lining up perpendicular to each other like that. And then I'm just, sort of putting them all together so you can see how they look here once they're all done. And this whole thing, basically it was like 1.5 minutes per coil. So roughly about 5 minutes to get all those put together, those 3 coils. And step 2 is basically anchoring in the negative leads. Anchoring in the negative leads is pretty simple because with this RDA, I'm vaping on it right now, by the way, the leads are basically going to go into the bottom of the deck. They're going into the bottom of the deck and these 4 terminals here, and those are your negative posts. This can be done with any sort of postless RDA. This can be done with any sort of postless RDA. The pi squared would work well. Probably the Hanya RDA would work well. There's a few RDAs that would work really well here. Kelly asked if I was talking about the new ceramic coil master coil set. That thing is awesome, but no, I'm specifically talking about just the metal ones that came with the kit. That's it. Just the metal ones is what I was using to shape the coils. The ceramic ones are awesome for firing the coils, but it's not going to work well with this particular build because the ceramics are just straight rods like the metal ones are. The this coil, it's curved. It's got like a circular kind of thing going on to it. So, that wouldn't work. Couldn't use the ceramics in there. That would be cool if you could though. That'd be awesome. Anyway, getting that all squared away, getting all the coils into the negative leads isn't terribly, terribly difficult. Yeah, there is going to be lag on the audio for sure. Um, at least, no. Okay, cool. So we can see a little bit more of what's going on now. And what's happening here is basically it's just shaping up the coils, ensuring that they're all going to be kind of aligned so that the positive leads are all going to be directed at that center post. If you're doing this with something like a postless RDA, something like the Hanya or the Pi Squared, or maybe even the Evil Monk, something like that, then you would basically put each coil into the post that's directly next to it. If you're doing it with something like this, the 454 big block, you'd be putting those positive leads into that center post. That's what you do there. So positioning the coils here is pretty crucial. Making sure that they're all in alignment. I mean, before you go ahead and place down that positive post is it should be pretty obvious. You need them to be in the right placement in order for that positive post to go down. But the thing is that it's important for how the coil is going to be shaped after as well. You want to make sure that everything is positioned so that after the coil is all placed, you can kind of reshape it. This coil takes a bit of shaping and then reshaping to get it right. Yeah, I know, guys. It's early everywhere. It's early. It's so very early. Thank you so much for tuning in, staying up late with me. It's a Tuesday here. Well, now it's when is it Tuesday? Shit, I don't even know what fucking day it is right now. Um, I think it's Wednesday morning at this point. Yes, it's Wednesday morning at 1 in the morning where I am. It's 2 p.m. wherever Ewan is, but yeah, it's late, you know. Um, I'm not sure how well this is going to go, so it's my first live stream by myself. I've never done one by myself, so I don't know how that's going to go. So I'm just kind of messing around with everything a little bit. It's kind of a cool software that allows me to have like these three different panels up on the screen like this. I like that. Yeah, and it looks like a total rat's nest. Exactly. It looks terrible right now. But the point is that what we're doing here is we're getting this ready so that we can get the positive post seated down there and trap all the coils in there. Um, it's prep work right now is what it is, and taking the time to get the prep work in there is going to make it a lot easier to get that positive post down, get everything shaped a little bit further down the road. Tom O'Connor wants to know my thoughts on the Twisted Messes squared RDA. I think he means the cubed RDA. The cubed RDA is looking pretty dope, and I need to go grab one. And Kelly is the one that turned me on to that, and I need to pick one of those up, man. If only for. See, the thing is about that RDA, what I'm curious to see, I'm excited about the idea of, you know, a, uh, a completely square deck. That sounds really cool. The thing that I worry about is what happens in positioning that RDA onto the box, onto the mod, for example. Because take other squared RDAs. This is the first square RDA with a square post. They were all circular, was the thing. And when they were circular, You know, it didn't matter how you put down the top of the RDA. You could put it down anywhere and it would line up with the box essentially. With this, you've really got to position it properly. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I'm really excited about the airflow system too. That sort of rotary system. Anyway, we're getting off topic. That whole thing is one of the hardest steps. Getting everything situated, getting everything recircular again, so that we can move on to step 4, which is placing in that positive post, securing everything down. I spent about 13 minutes just positioning the coil, getting everything reorganized once I had the negative post anchored down. Now, with this RDA is particularly difficult in getting that positive post down because there's no terminals really, actual terminals on the positive post. It's just this sort of metal block that you're using to sandwich the leads down in there. That's all you have to work with. And you've got these little cutaways inside of that post that you can sort of sit things in and crush them in with. That's all you can do. Um, with other RDAs, something like the 454 big block, something like I'm having a hard time thinking of other sort of round RDAs with a positive post in the middle. I mean, the 454 big block is the one that really comes to mind. But I don't know about any others that really spring up. But you know, take postless RDAs. Postless RDAs would not give you this much of an issue. This particular RDA is difficult because of the way that positive post works. But that's where that prep work comes in. Doing that prep work, spending 13 minutes doing that prep work is what makes this possible. If I didn't take that time to do that, I wouldn't be able to seat everything down in there. So that takes a significant amount of time. Like right here, you can see that this particular coil that I'm working on here, that coil, the way it was set up, the lead, these are all like the original leads. These are not cut at all. Yeah, the Stonehenge, that's a good example. I have the Stonehenge. Why didn't I think of that? Yeah, that's another RDA that has circular with the post in the middle. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. These these leads are actually the original cut. I did not cut these leads anymore. These leads are basically just, you know, they're the way that they came from Steel Vape or whatever the manufacturer was. The people that made the EX RDA, they included these fused Claptons, and they're just cut the way that they were. I didn't cut them additionally or anything like that. And some of them are not even. So I'm basically sort of trying to pull them and trying to push them into something that they're not, trying to sort of reshape them on the fly here. So that's what's going on here a bit. It is a bit of a pain, yeah. Hey, we got Rambo in the house. Awesome. Mr. Rambo is here, co-creator of Coil Wars. Awesome. I saw Mark in there too. Mark, it's good to see you too. All you guys, I'm glad you guys came out. I'm surprised at the turnout. I mean, it's early. It's really early. Anyway, um, this is it's great. What was I saying? Yeah, it's kind of a bitch to get everything all squared away and get everything all set up, but but it's fun to take the time to do that, you know. Hey, we got all kinds of coils in the house. All kinds of coils has been blowing up the Coil Wars page. He's got a bunch of entries for the latest Coil Wars battles. I cannot wait for the latest Coil Wars battles. The deadline is Thursday. Thursday is the deadline for entries. I can tell you that we've already secured one judge. I need to get with Dwayne. I need to talk to him about who else we might want to judge this one. Um, but yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm excited for the first battle. It's going to be awesome. What you're probably seeing in the background is me putting down the positive post, testing all the coils, and realizing that, hey, something is not right here. Something did not get caught. And you're going to see this a few times here. Like I said, I put this in real time so you guys could see what is going on. You're going to see in the background as I try repeatedly to place the coils into this positive post realize that something got missed, one or two coils didn't get caught, undo the positive post and try again. You're going to see that several times. It's going to take a little while. So, yeah, but this is going to be a fun live show. It's not going to be quite an hour, just a heads up. It's not going to be quite an hour long. It's not going to be even close to an hour, really. So, we're a good, I'm not sure how long we've been at this, about 15 minutes? Yeah, we're about a third of the way through. We're getting there. Just to give you guys an update on our time frame here, in case you wanted to take a bathroom break or something. This is going to go on for a little while, me fucking with this, and I do my best to keep it all in the frame. But this is me. This is just raw camera footage. I am basically doing what I can do to keep this in the frame so that I have something I can use to show you guys the process down the road. In the original video, everything's just kind of sped up, and I'm doing my commentary over it. But I wanted to show you guys more real time because you guys seem kind of curious with how long this particular one took and what went into it. So, yeah. Lake Town Messes wants to be a judge on coil because they picked a wet t-shirt contest winner. That's awesome. I have not tried the Hadley. I have not. To be honest with you, it doesn't look like it would be my kind of thing. It looks like it's going to be really tight, really, really tight. But that's just me being, prejudiced, I guess. Um, yeah, it's just first impressions looking at it. It looks like it's got some very, very tight airflow. Um, Adam, Mini Josh is coming back soon. Mini Josh is working on a project as we speak. In fact, after this video is over, I might do a little bit of work with Mini Josh. So he's got a video coming up, hopefully this weekend, if not before. Just Vapor thinks it's going to be 20 minutes for the wicking process. Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think? How long do you think this bitch is going to take to wick? Place your bets. Folks tend builders measure are limits that can be passed. I'm not extending, don't want to fucking message not sent. Can builds be tinkered with to full extent of a builder's imagination, or are there limits that can't be passed? That's interesting. Are there limits that can't be passed in terms of building, or are you limited only by your imagination? It's an interesting question, honestly. I think that there are limits when it comes to technology. Technology in terms of what devices can handle the proper ohms, technology in terms of safety, that sort of thing. Those are really the only limits. And other than that, just your own personal skill level, which really doesn't have any limit for as long as you practice and work with it. So some people are saying 3 minutes, some people are saying 5.5, 11 minutes, 5 minutes. And I think I do take it off camera at one point so I can get this finished up. I mean, look at this. I mean, I've got 3 leads seated in this fucking positive post and I can't get the last fucking lead to go in there. I can't tell you how frustrating that was, doing that over and over again. Placing it down, bringing it back up, placing it back down, realizing that there's a lead that hasn't been captured, taking it back up again. Oh, it's such a bitch. Such a bitch. But, it's really just, it's worth it in the end. It's fun and it's good time. Daniel wants to know how you can post to the corrugated challenge on the Coil Wars page. Basically, all you have to do is tag the Coil Wars page on Instagram. The way you do that is, you go, when you're posting your coil, there's an option to tag people. You want to hit that tag people button and then type in Coil Wars. That's the easiest way. You can also technically do @Coil Wars. I've also been checking for hashtag Coil Wars periodically, but the easiest way to make sure that we don't miss it is to tag people. and then choose Coil Wars there. That way it shows up in pictures of Coil Wars on the profile page, just because that's the easiest thing for me and for Dwayne when he feels like jumping in there to go there and scroll through, see the pictures that we haven't posted yet, and then get them onto the actual page for voting so that, you know, they can be elevated up. The ones with the 5 most liked photos are going to be elevated up to a panel of judges. So that's the goal there. Someone asked, what was the most challenging build and how long did I spend building it? Now, there's challenging like a single session. Like, I want to say the Staggerton that I did for Coil Wars took a good couple hours. A good couple hours me screwing with that coil. But, you know, I'm really not that experienced in Staggertons. And then you can think of, you know, the most difficult in terms of how long it took me to learn a particular skill. Like, you know, the alien coil. That took me 3 months to learn how to make. 3 months. That was, but I'm a slow learner with that kind of thing. I don't have. I'm kind of clumsy. I'm kind of, you know, I'm not the best with my hands, believe it or not. So all this stuff with coil building is actually a huge challenge for me. You know, it's really outside my comfort zone. I think I missed something. Do you think it would have been easier to slightly bend the leads to make it easier to fit in the positive post? Yes, I do. I do because, you know, looking at it as it's being built, well, yes and no. Yes and no. I feel like if I'd spent the time to bend them, I feel like, you know, bending them, I would have had to bend only about 1 or 2 millimeters max, would be all that I would be able to bend to make them fit into that positive post with this RDA. I almost feel like I'm going to drop the display there so you can see the corner, what little you can see of the corner. I almost feel like sandwiching them down the way that I did made it easier for me to get the right bend there. And once the right bend was there, then, you know, it became easier as I went. If I'd made my own fuse Clapton coils and I had like a little bit more of a lead to work with, then yes, bending them would have been easier. But since I was using these pre-made fuse Clapton coils and the lead was already short as it was, it really was easier just to sandwich them down, I think, like this. That's just, I don't know. That's what I think. But no, it's a good question. Yeah. It doesn't chuck tits. Fuck off. That's a good question, too. It does chuck tits. It does. Indeed, it does. It does. Um, I think we're getting close. I think we're almost at the point where I've got this thing sandwiched in there. We're getting there. Yeah, I don't know how to set up a moderator. At some point I will. I haven't seen anyone be too offensive, so I think it's all right. What's it ohm out to? It ohms out at about 0.15 ohms. 0.15. And I think that that's due to, you know, spreading the coils out like that. If I hadn't done that, it would probably ohm out way lower. Why am I taking off the top cap? I don't need to do that with this RDA. I don't even need to do that. I'm being stupid. It's hot. It gets really fucking hot. I will tell you that. Really hot. Something I forgot to mention in the review. It's really hot. Oh, fuck. Yeah. And I'm trying to adjust the airflow. Anyway. Tips on Clapton wire, like how to keep it in a groove. Claptons, I like to keep them in like a straight line. I'm talking about my Clapton wire. Keep my Clapton wire in a straight line. Um, Almost think of right angles. You're forming a right angle on either side of your core wires with your Clapton wire. You know, that's what you're doing. And you're just keeping that straight the whole way down, you know. And I'm demonstrating using my left hand like this. Build with whatever hand is more comfortable for you. I like to think of it like I build goofy-footed. You know, you'd think that you'd hold your Clapton wire with your right hand. For some reason, I like to hold my Clapton wire with my left hand. And there we are, 14 minutes getting those damn positive leads into that positive post. 14 minutes. That's how long that shit took. So it was a lot of trial and error. It was a lot of, yeah, 90 degrees in the fuse, like Rambo's saying. Step 5 is basically just shaping the coil again. So we basically bent the coils into shape, anchored the leads, shaped them again, anchored them down into the positive post, and now we're shaping again. Click on the dots to their name and you can make them a moderator. It doesn't do that. I don't think I'm in the same, I'm not in Google Hangouts, so it's different, I think. I don't think it works that way. Oh wait, maybe. Who wants to be a moderator? Who can I trust? Where's Nigel? I know Nigel. You've been moderator before. Nigel, say something so I can find you. Oh, I'll find you in a minute. Anyway, so what am I doing right now? Why if I think I'm probably, okay, I know what I'm doing. I think I know what I'm doing. I don't know, I'll let you know in a minute. How often do I get to build? I don't get to build nearly as often as I would like. These days I build when I'm reviewing a coil. I build when I am, Lemmy. Yeah, Lemmy. And Rambo. Yeah, Lemmy and Rambo. You can double team them. I can put you in timeout. I can set user as a moderator. There we go. Okay. Rambo, I'm counting on you, buddy. Set user as moderator. You now have wrenches. Go to town. Anyway, so right now I've got this placed down on the Coilmaster kit. The Coilmaster build tool. And what's happening there is I'm basically just shaping it. I always start out using the Coilmaster kit or the Geek Vape kit or one or the other. And then very, very quickly, I realized that with the build I've put in there, it doesn't have enough power. It doesn't have enough power for me to shape the fucking coil. I really want someone to make an ohm meter that's capable of, really firing these low ohm builds and shaping them that way. It's kind of annoying that I can't do that on a build kit. I can't really, if I want to use a build kit, I can't build below like 2.2 ohms. It kind of defeats the purpose, if you ask me. This thing's kind of cool. The Sifu build tab, it's from Yude. I'm messing around with that a bit. I don't know how low I can fire on it. It's only a single battery. It only fires up to 60 watts. So I'm not really optimistic about that either. I kind of feel like someone needs to make a build kit that does dual 18650s and can fire at, a fake 200 watts. I think that would be great. I think we need that. Someone needs to get on that. But, it's basically just little by little shaping this coil here, getting everything ordered and getting everything into that sort of reactor kind of shape, that round shape. I used to think of it as kind of like a floral build. Another RDA that's really great for this particular build? It's old school. I don't know how many of you are going to remember this RDA, but it's the Cat. Does anyone remember the Cat RDA? I forget who makes it, but that would have been a great, great build for the Cat. I'm pretty sure I saw that build in the Cat, and that's probably why I was doing this anyway. It's very reminiscent of some of the builds that I used to see that were made for the Cat. The Cat was a really interesting RDA. It looked friggin' cool because it had this badass cat with this really nasty looking gnarly tooth in there. And it would, it had two airflow chambers, inner airflow chambers. It was a really innovative Addy. It was kind of ahead of its time, if you ask me. And it had four, you guys are going to hear the train. Train's about to go by. I don't know if I can mute my audio. Can I? I don't really want to. You guys can deal with it. Anyway, so the Cat, yeah, the Cat was sexy looking. Yes, it was. It was very sexy looking. The Cat was a cool looking RDA, man. And what would happen there is like the airflow would come in the top on this outer shell, and then there was a whole chamber inside. And that chamber inside had another airflow. So the airflow would pass through like two separate systems to get to your coils. was really, really cool. It was like top airflow or something coming into side airflow, and it never leaked, and it was pretty awesome. The leads, the posts on it though, for the negative leads, it would have been way harder with the cat though, because the negative leads were the negative posts were basically just these flat screws that you would use to trap the wires with them. It would be a cool RDA for that RDA, cool build. It would be a cool build for that RDA if anyone still has it and wants to mess around with that. That would work. That would be a cool panel. That would be a really cool panel. Twisted Messes, M Turk, and Squid Dude. That would be really, really awesome. Throw in Homeboy OC in there. Throw in. I always feel like I'm forgetting someone, but yeah, we definitely have some panels that we're dreaming of having on future Coil Wars episodes. Some panels that we really want to see come together. But we'll see. You know, it's down the road. We've only done one season of Coil Wars so far. Another one is definitely on the horizon, but it's going to be a ways. I definitely want to do a few episodes of battles first and go from there. The oldest RDA that I own, and I don't know what the CSMNT is. The oldest RDA that I own, shit. Maybe, I mean, clones. Definitely no authentics. Oldest that I own is probably the the fuck the Veritas, probably the Veritas. I also used to have a 3D. The 3D was one of the first ones I ever got. That thing was terrible. Um, I had a start with an H. I can't remember what the name of it was. Um, Not the Helix, not the I forget what it was called. Maybe it was a Z. I don't remember. I cannot blow any sort of vape trick, wicked, awesome, or otherwise. Yeah, Kelly. Blue Eyed Goon was a judge in the last episode of Coil Wars. That was pretty awesome. It was a real honor. And Squid Dude, Blue Eyed Goon, Squid Dude, and Nicole, 20 Nicole TX 27 or 27 TX. I'm blanking on it right now. She was representing Vapix too. It was an awesome panel. We were stoked to have that panel. That was awesome. Um, I think at this point, this is where I've realized that I'm never going to be able to fire this thing on the damn Coil Master, and I've put that over to the Taro Pro at this point, just because it was what I had around. And at this point, we're basically just getting the coils firing right. And you're going to be amazed at how fast this coil fires up right. I never had the Hellboy, I never had the Magma, I never had the Troll. Da, da, da. You're gonna be amazed how fast this coil fires. Like I'm strumming my coils here, and now I'm just gonna pulse a little bit, and then it's gonna fire up. That was it. And I think that's due to all the prep work. I think it's also due to that the coils are spaced. The spacing the coils on this particular build makes it really easy to get them all firing evenly. Um, yeah, that's like first try, they're all firing evenly. I was kind of shocked right there. It's yeah, I was kind of amazed that this coil fired up even from the get-go. I gotta say, looking at this footage, you can see how I mean, this post took damage getting this coil set up. I mean, this was the first build I threw in this RDA, and you can see how funkied up that post is getting. I mean, it's not the best material, I gotta say, you know, on this post. It's a little bit chintzy on the positive post. I realized toward the end that using a pair of pliers on this post as opposed to a screwdriver was definitely the best way to go. Yeah. Yeah, Kelly, you and I need to get together again and talk more about wick collapse. I'm going to send you an email soon. Um, I did a little bit of my own research. I want to get with you and talk more, so we'll definitely do that. Oh, the Tobe. Yeah, the Tobe was one of the first RDAs I got, and I fucking loved my Tobe. The Tobe was where I first realized that I can. I fell in love with an RDA. That was the first RDA I ever fell in love with. All right, wicking. Here we go. Everyone wanted to know how long this thing took to wick. And you'll be surprised, it takes a little while, but I don't think it would take as long as you'd think. I don't know. Some of those initial guesses, you guys are a little bit off, but you'll see. Um, I think I went off camera to get it started. Yeah, there we go. So I went off camera to get it started for a sec just so I could see what I was doing, and then the rest I just did right there. Yeah. Getting thirsty. Shit. Yeah. But this is definitely a bit of a tedious process wicking this coil. I'll be honest, I have not taken the wick out of this build since I put it in there. It tastes a little funky because I've just been pouring different juice on top of different juice on top of different juice at this point. But I definitely don't want to wick this thing again anytime soon. Anytime soon. Um, yeah, it was a bitch. It was an absolute bitch. It's fun because it's meditative. It's a process and it's a ritual, and I think that's why I like building so much. I think that's why I like taking the time of putting together an exotic build and having a good vape with it. It's a ritual. Kind of like it's a lot of I think what attracts us to vaping is what some things that attracted us to smoking beyond just nicotine intake, beyond just the feeling of having a good vape. It's the ritual that goes along with it too. And when you think about it, when you used to get a pack of cigarettes, you'd pack them against your wrist. For me, I used to roll my own coils, roll my own. See, the lingo kind of mixes together after a while. I used to roll my own cigarettes for a while, and it was that ritual, and I loved. I think I really love that aspect of it. The ritual of building a coil, the ritual of wicking a coil, that kind of thing. You know, it's it's just that way I said 45 minutes, 15 minutes for bitching, and 30 minutes for wicking and molding. That is very, very true with many, many coils. It's 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 a love-hate relationship, It's you love when it's finished and you love um the process and you also hate the process at the same time. You cuss and you fume and you notice that there's no audio. That's because I'm cussing and I'm bitching the whole time here. Um, and plus, I wanted to talk over it. But yeah, there's definitely a ritual to it, and it's fun. And that's what I enjoy about it. Um, it's a good time. And this took about three separate pieces of cotton getting this all set up. Like the first piece got me like halfway or a little bit more than halfway. And then you'll see I'm going to take another piece and I'm going to take it and put it in there about another third of the way or so, another quarter of the way maybe, and then just finish it with a really small piece. And you'll notice that the coils, they're moving. While I'm putting this cotton in there, they're weakening the connections and all that. That's why when everything is all said and done, I do take the time to go in there and just tighten up all the connections once again. I don't think that that's on film here um, because I was trying to be conservative on time. Like for instance, when we were building the coil, I just showed you one that I was shaping. I didn't want to take all your time because, a lot of it, a lot of the build here with the original footage is me just, making the coil dance for the camera and doing little circles with it and, getting good angles and repositioning the camera and all that. So I'm just trying to cut it down to the actual build time so you guys can see sort of real-time build footage and I can answer any questions about it, as we go. Um, I've been vaping about 3 years now. Just passed the 3 year anniversary back in September. So about 3 years now. And I'm with Adam. Best decision I ever made. A lifestyle change. The best thing I ever did for my body. Best thing my wife and I ever did for each other. We don't smell like cigarettes anymore. We feel healthier. We can think past the age of 50. Um, yeah. 7 years. Holy crap. 7 years. That's crazy, Hector. That's awesome. Congratulations, man. So what interested me so much about making this video is you guys were really excited about it. To be honest with you, this is one of the easier coils that I've ever made. And I think that's just because, they're fused Claptons and they're spaced fused Claptons. It's tedious, is what it is. It's more of a tedious coil to make than a difficult coil. Like the Vaping Fission, they were saying he doesn't go past fused Claptons. And these are fused Claptons. That's all they are. They're fused Claptons that I've spread apart and I've put into a circle, made it into a reactor coil. I always like to think of this coil as a flower for some reason. Um, Maybe that's just the girly man in me thinking of that. I don't know why. But this is not, a super difficult coil to make. Yeah, it's not. It's tedious, is what it is. Um, it's making sure everything is the right angle. It's making sure that everything is lined up correctly. It's taking the time to wick it and shape it properly. That's a lot of what this coil is. It's a fun coil to make. It's a fun coil to. It's a challenge too. It's a challenge of patience. It's a challenge of making sure everything is firing up right, the wicking, making sure everything is working right there, because you want to make sure that you're not wicking too loose. You want to make sure that everything is good and as thick as it can possibly be with the wicking. You want it to really hug the inside of those wraps. You don't want it to be coming out of the wraps too much, and you don't want the wicking to destroy the wraps. You have to go slow enough that the wicking is not going to just distort all the work that you've done. Because if you go too fast, I mean, you can end up wrenching out the coil from the positive post, for example. That coil in the back just jumped, man. You got to be careful, take your time with it, but it's worth it. It's a fun build. It's a tasty build, especially for the right RDA. This is definitely a build that's made for an RDA with quad airflow. Airflow that you've got on the left, the right, the front, the back. If it doesn't have that, then the airflow is not going to be right within the chamber. It's not going to heat the coils properly. It's not going to cool the coils properly, I should say. You could end up, yes, caterpillar track coils, alien coils, staple coils, anything like that would work. Anything that you can space. I would say what would honestly be more challenging than this would be parallel coils. Parallel coils would be a really challenging build for this because the parallel wraps, you'd want to create a look like there were two wraps and then two wraps and then two wraps and then, well, not two wraps, I mean, two coils next to two wraps next to each other because you're making a parallel coil. Anyway, and making sure that they didn't get spaced out while you were wicking it and making sure that they stayed together and were in the same place as they were and they were all together, that would be more challenging than a fused Clapton. Parallel coil build as a reactor coil would be kind of difficult, but also very fun. I bet Mohawks would look really cool like this. I think you're right. Mohawks could be really cool. Hey, Tibbs in the house. What's up, man? Awesome. A stovetop coil in this configuration? How would you do? I don't know how you would do it. It's an interesting idea. I just don't know how it would be done. I think it could work well in the Mason 40 millimeter. There's another Mason that has quad airflow though that I think it would work better. You're also going to have a hard time with a quad post. I don't know how it would work with a quad. I guess it could work with a quad post. I don't know what I'm thinking. Basically, quad post is here. You'd have half on one side, half on the other side, and then the wall of the posts are there, and then do half on that side, half on that side. It would work. It would work better with a quad airflow system is the thing. A dual airflow system, I don't think it would work quite as well because the way I like to do my airflow personally, I like to angle my airflow toward the center of my coils as much as possible. Juggernauts would look really cool. Yeah. Um, I like to angle my air toward the center of my coils. And with a dual coil system, basically, I mean, a dual airflow system, you'd be angling the airflow at the sides of the coils probably. Air might not move around the coil the air might not move around the coil properly, is what I was trying to say. With a dual airflow system, a quad airflow system would probably be best. Yeah, this would work in the 454 for sure. For sure, would work in the 454. It'd be great in the 454. Yeah. Almost there. Almost done with the wicking. But the flavor on it is awesome. And I think a lot of that has to do with the bottom airflow. The leakiness also has to do with the bottom airflow. But the flavor is really great, I gotta say. Um, I think that on the side, that's not juice. That's just sweat from my hands. That's just me working my hands and getting my hands all sweaty. It's work, man. It's a coil that needs a lot of tweaking. I don't know where we are with wicking time so far. We're almost there. At the end, it'll say how long it took, and I'll give you the answer. I forgot how long it took. Yeah, there it is. 12 minutes on the wicking. Whoever said 12 minutes, you were right. So that's what that is. What do I suggest for an avocado 24? Anything. I really like the avocado 24. You can put anything in there that, any kind of build in the avocado 24 if you ask me. It's a great build. It's a great RDA. It's great RDTA, I should say. Genesis. It's a great one. I also really like it for, that single coil mode where it's got the air coming in through the back of the coil. That's pretty cool. And that's it. That's the whole build. Um, that's all it took. I think what I showed at the end is that the whole thing took about just at about an hour to put that build together. Work time. Filming it took a lot longer, but work time right at about an hour, you can get it done, I would say. Yeah, 15 minutes was close, for sure. Yeah, it's a fun build. It's a fun one to mess around. When you do the dripping shots, you get leaking on bottom fed atomizers. Um, no, not necessarily. Um, this one leaks. It's leaking right now. But that's just part of the thing with certain bottom fed atomizers. Some of them leak worse than others. Some of them don't leak at all. It depends. Um, some of them just work better than others. One of the best bottom airflow devices that I've messed around with was the VCST. That thing is pretty excellent, I gotta say. The VCST is an RTA, and I've never had any leaking out of the VCST. And it's just like vaping on the Tsunami, just like vaping on the Tsunami. That's exactly what it's like. Yeah. Um, any other notes on the build that I can think of? Um, oh, the cotton. The cotton in the video is not finished. After the video was done, I went in and I stuffed cotton in the spaces between the positive post and the coil because without that, it will absolutely leak and leak constantly. It needs that bit of cotton in there to stop the build from leaking out the bottom airflow, and it needs that bit of cotton in there. It doesn't need it, but it feeds the coils better. So that bit of cotton between the positive post and the round coil is a must. The next thing I'm reviewing, what was I reviewing? I've got a couple videos that I started to make before I started wearing the cat shirt, the cat sweater. I got to get those videos out. I'll probably do those to the next couple of days. I'm wearing like one of my yellow shirts or something, but I'm gonna knock those out so I can go back to wearing the sweater for the rest of December. But I don't want to hold up those videos. Um, and in terms of other things I'm reviewing, I've got a big green screen review coming up for the Seafood B tab, along with the Goblin V3 and the Mesmer, which is like the Goblin V3, but a sub-ohm tank. So that's going to be cool. Um, the we're gonna have the Gremlin in there. He's gonna be a fun addition. Um, and that's hopefully coming up in the next couple days, if not this weekend. Um, yeah, the cat sweater is awesome. He's just a badass, man. I love this dude. He's like just got this great scowl to him. The hat's like cocked to the side. Waffles has good taste in cat wear. She really does. Is it better to wick cotton thick? I think it is, personally. I think that it feeds the coil better. I feel like, someone asked me today, actually, and I'm going to reply to their comment because I don't know if they'll watch this, but they asked if these exotic builds, it was a good question. It was a good question because it was a wrong question, but it was still a good question. They asked if with these exotic builds, is it just a waste of battery life because there's so much extra surface area that it's like the coil is being unnecessarily heated because it's like it's over, it's a lot of heating that's going on that's not heating the cotton. And he they got it wrong. And the thing is that the coil is not heating the cotton. What's happening is that the cotton is feeding juice to the coil. So that's why these coils, these exotic builds, these more these builds with more pockets for juice to collect in are better vapes. That's why they are more productive, more flavorful coils because it's feeding more juice to the coil and it's vaporizing more liquid and vaporizing it faster or vaporizing it differently. That's what's going on there. So I definitely want to break that down for him so he understands what's happening with the coil there and why these builds are such really great flavor and great cloud producers. I mean, they're very satisfying builds overall. So that needs to be said. I think I answered your question. Anyway, um, I think we're gonna wrap this one up, guys, and just under an hour. I didn't keep you guys too late. It's 2 in the morning here where I am. I'm gonna go to sleep. It's been a fun month so far. I've managed to get a video up every day this month so far. So, well, except for one, it was a third, but I had a double upload the day before, I think. So I kind of pat myself on the back for that. The most flavorful coil I've ever built. Last question, I guess. Probably either the Staggerton or one of the aliens I've built. One or the other. One or the other. Anyway, it was a lot of fun. If this video it does well, you guys enjoyed it. It gets a bunch of views, gets a lot of comments in the replay as well. If you guys like this kind of thing, maybe I'll do this again. I like keeping some of the build videos short and sweet, but I'd also like doing these live sessions and breaking them down again. I think that could be useful to you guys. Anyway, till next time, I'm your homeboy Josh. Vape on, Vapers.